Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Gaura Premanande Gaura Premanande Gaura Premanande Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. How is everyone tonight? Everyone feeling good? You're having a transcendental chanting party up here? I could feel all of the feet hitting the floor. Woke me up completely. Then I realized I had to surrender, do my seva, and get the mercy, kripa, get association from all the devotees, and to continue our discussion, Hari-katha, Krishna-katha. This is the medicine, this is the solution. Prabhupada said, just come, sit nicely, peacefully, patiently. Many times my Gurudev would say, please be patient, because we don't have a lot of patience. We want to get all the answers right now, we want to understand everything right away, but this is a question of purification, cultivation, development of faith. Pay attention. It takes time. You have to focus. Don't be distracted. Srila Prabhupada, I was seeing in other places, I was seeing where Prabhupada was talking about some of the topics that we were discussing last night. And Prabhupada was saying that the people are so dull that they cannot even perceive really that they have a problem. So and we started that whole conversation last night on this topic, that this tamagun, lower modes of nature, makes us very dull, and we become very weak on so many different levels, so we're not able to perceive that we even have a problem. Arjuna, clearly he came to the understanding that he's got a serious problem, and that it's not just enough to be conscious enough and, free from the dullness, that we can perceive anxiety, different types of suffering grossly, subtly, that this is not a nice place, that this is really truly some prison houses going on here, all types of miseries, nobody's asking for any of this thing. And every time you think back, every time we think we got a clear path, what we have to do, we got a great plan, everything seems to be lining up, right? We're feeling very positive finally, and with a great hope and a great confidence, we start going on that path, and maybe a few steps, everything seemed like it's working. Now finally, maybe we'll get some successes in our life, and then all of a sudden all these things come out of nowhere, unexpectedly. Prabhupada said, like a forest fire, which is coming out of nowhere. and just creating. So many times you hear a story, they build everything up, and then all of a sudden, like, their partners get cancer, and he's got a brain tumor, and his accountant has robbed everything that he has, and right, there's always some kind of adventure in the prison house. Right? In the prison house, you're like, if I can just survive today, right? Not what to speak of thriving. So we're totally out of touch with the reality. And Prabhupada said that because of our dullness, we're not maximizing the purpose of the human form of life, which is to find a spiritual solution. So if we don't even realize that this is a problematic platform, and that there is no real material solution, then we'll come to some spiritual type of path. So one thing I was thinking is that about this realizing the degree of our problem, perplexity, confusion, disturbance, realizing fear, anxiety, so many different type of suffering condition. And then naturally, if we're a little bit intelligent, then we'll start to try to find different ways to mitigate that. So we just start making all different types of adjustments geographically, change your job, change your family. Maybe not in India. Other places you can do. So it's all just about making different changes. Then of course Maya is just saying, well, if you just change all of this thing, that will solve your problem. So the same speculation which created the problem, we're going back to the answer, how to solve our problem. So of course Maya will just give you the appearance that has a new plan, a new adjustment. Now finally we can solve everything. We just have to do this and that. Solve a few problems here or there, make a few more adjustments. And everything, all of this anxiety and fear and disturbance and problem and dissatisfaction, unhappiness, all of this thing will finally go away. And then she gives us confidence that now this time, these thoughts, this plan, it's going to be different than all the other times. Now finally, we're gonna find some success. We get some confidence, some feeling that yes, this makes sense. It's logical, it's practical, I like the idea, it's right in front of me, it's doable, seems like a doable situation. And then we become very inspired. We're feeling it in our bones, we're pounding our chest. This is coming from God, some divine arrangement. And then she takes us again down the same path of getting cheated. And this just is going on, the whole point of the material experience is for us to realize no matter how many adjustments we make, materially, grossly, subtly, any of these adjustments is not really going to solve all of this different type of problem and suffering here. And Prabhupada just saying, because everybody's dull, they don't even feel the problem and the suffering anyway. But those who do, and those who are seriously trying to figure out how to understand what's happening, why it's happening, and what can be done to try to adjust the situation. I remember many years walking up and down the self-help aisles of the bookstore. Maybe it's an astrological problem, maybe it's a psychological problem, maybe it's a family problem, maybe it's a health problem. So we're just speculating. Everybody has some different idea what is the problem. Of course, those all may be symptoms and different types of problems, but what is the root of the problem? And of course, Prabhupada says birth, death, disease, old age. No one wants to get old, no one wants to get disease. Nobody wants to die. So these are the real problem. So we're not even thinking to go to the root of the problem. We think it's a material problem that can be adjusted. And so if we're a little bit intelligent, we realize we have a problem, then we'll just go through a series of different speculative, scientific types of gross and subtle material adjustments to see if that can, balance out or mitigate or get rid of some of these anxieties and suffering and disturbance that we're feeling. Maybe different relationship, maybe you have to have another kid, maybe you need a new job, maybe you need to live in a different place, maybe you need some new friends. And then they say, they have books on how to meet new friends, how to get rid of your old friends. Right? So it's basically realizing all the different types of problems and basically what you can do to get rid of them and pick up something else. It's just a series of endless types of speculation and adjustments. And of course, for most of us, we're just exhausting all of those different type of materialistic adjustments. Psychological, intellectual, physical, social, economic, family, institutional, governmental. So we're just basically trying to balance all of those things. And we're trying to picture the perfect world that will have the intelligence, strength, ability to understand and balance all of those things. Hello. And of course, nothing ever lines up like that. My Gurudev used to say that, if you want to be happy, if Krishna wanted this place to be a peaceful, happy place, he would have made it that way. So we're busy trying to make a peaceful and happy and healthy place. And Krishna is saying, but I'm determined to make it as miserable as possible, because then you'll surrender to me. So it's a maddening madness that we think that we can rearrange the engineering of the purpose and creation of the material world. That's how far gone we are with our pride and arrogance and controlling natures. And then we just go about that, if we can just control everybody, right? Like on the stage, right? Someone is a director, everyone has to play some part. So if everybody's the director, and everyone's trying to tell everybody else, all the other directors, where to stand and what to do and what to say and how to act, then this is it's a madness, chaos. That's what we have in this world. A bunch of people on false ego platform, all competing with Krishna, all trying to establish themselves, trying to control everything, everyone, all circumstances, to somehow or other meet this kind of conception of what we think will finally make us peaceful and happy. So this very complex problem, who can realize it, and then who can scientifically exhaust different types of material adjustments to finally be completely convinced, just like Arjuna, then no matter what adjustment you make, even if it sounds biased, even if it's according to the Vedic system, still it will not work, because really it requires that everybody surrenders to Krishna and does what Krishna is asking us to do. So we're not prepared to surrender, we're not prepared to hear, we're not prepared to accept it wholeheartedly, and we're not prepared to cultivate it. So that means we are acting separatist mentality from Krishna and competing with Krishna over the control of our own life. So when we're trying to understand the problem, trying to find the solutions, trying to do damage control with the lack of proper success, then we're acting as our own master. We're the master of our own life. Right? So many books, songs written, you're the master of your own life. You can create just by the strength of your desire. You know, you can project yourself and become the way you are. In some ways, it's actually true, because they understand on some level that the strength and power of one's desire, ultimately Krishna fulfills those desires. But the problem is they think they're doing it because they're realizing and working on and developing the strength of their desire. They're missing the final factor of action, that Krishna just allows certain things to happen. So I was just thinking about what we were discussing last night. We can continue a little bit about that discussion. There's some few more points from our discussion last night. But what is the problem? How much are we trying to solve it? Are we solving it by material means? How much have we exhausted our faith in thinking that we can understand and solve it on our own? How much are we still convinced that we know what is best for us, and we know what is the perfect plan for us and our family? And we are just busy concocting, manufacturing different type of intelligence or plan for what we're perceiving to be the solution. So where are we in that process? So that's what we're talking about. You want to talk about that?
Yes.
What happened? He's happy tonight. Last night he was in the dark night of the soul. He had like a straitjacket on. He was sweating bullets. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Gaur Govinda Swaminiti Namane. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatane. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. So we're reading from a lecture Prabhupada gave in Los Angeles, November 25, 1968, where he's talking from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, 1 through 10 verses. He's just giving a talk, discussing with the devotees. And Arjuna, yeah, you can put that fan, put it on your head, or his head, not his head, your head. Keep you cool. Oh, Krishna. So Prabhupada is explaining that Arjuna, he became perplexed. He didn't know what to do, what not to do. He not knowing whether he should execute fighting with the risk of committing unnecessary violence, although it's the duty of the Kshatriya, or whether he should not and prefer instead to live by begging. Because if he did not conquer the enemy, then begging would be the only means left for his living. So there's no certainty of any victory, because either side might emerge victorious. So Prabhupada explains that these are all the different causes of Arjuna's perplexities. He was realizing he's got a problem, and he was trying to think it up. what to do, how to do, and he became bewildered by it because he didn't see any of those ideas as being, working or being successful. So when you're thinking up all contingency plans and every single one of them is like, that's not going to work, and then you exhaust all of it, and then not only are you not convinced that there's a solution, you're actually more bewildered and more confused and more perplexed because you're looking into it, then you realize, wow, this is more complicated than we thought, right? So it's just exponentially more complex and perplexing, and that's the whole point. Because if we could understand it and solve it, we don't need Krishna, we don't need a guru, we don't have to surrender. So the point is, material energy is created to bring every single soul, all the way from Lord Brahma all the way down, to realize that that one must surrender to Krishna. Krishna says, by all the Vedas I am to be known. So the purpose of the Vedas, the Vedic system, is to bring everybody ultimately to surrender to Krishna. So Prabhupada said that Arjuna, he understood what the causes of his perplexities were, and he was trying to fix it, and he could not fix it. He could not come to a fit conclusion. And when he became exhausted and frustrated and could come to no viable conclusion or solution, then he surrendered to Krishna. And then he said, now I am completely confused. And Prabhupada said, the conditioned soul means you don't know what to do, what not to do. So when you're at a point that you don't know what to do and what not to do, that's confusion and perplexity. And we're losing all faith and confidence that either way will work anyway. So finally he surrendered to Krishna. In this condition, I'm surrendering to you and I'm asking you, as my spiritual master, clearly tell me what is best for me. Sometimes you get a simple instruction, and then by the time you think it up, you forget the original instruction. Right? Many devotees, they come to me, they say, oh, I'm so messed up, I'm so confused, And I said, well, you didn't make the instructions your life and your soul, you didn't take shelter of your instructions. And devotees are like, well, what were my instructions again? So that's obviously not making your life and your soul. If that's the only solution, only way to connect yourself to receiving power and strength and intelligence from Guru and Krishna, you would think that would be an important thing to remember. But you'd be surprised, because of this mental speculation and all this different types of strength and power of Maya, how much we forget. That's why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya is so important, because it forces us to remember. If we disassociate, if we're not associating with devotees and we're not constantly hearing about service in Guru and Krishna Samsara and how that is the real duty, that is the real dharma, and we're not reminded and kick-starting that determination on a daily basis, it's very easy to go off track, because Maya, Krishna says, is Mama Maya. They're very powerful, very difficult to overcome that. So without association, proper hearing and chanting, there's no chance of avoiding the contamination and the bewildering nature of that Maya. And the Maya, Prabhupada says, has a two potency. One is it covers your intelligence. It makes you forget really what is your duty, what is your responsibility, and then it drags you away. So as soon as we forget, then we forget our responsibility. Now we have an unlimited amount of other things that we think we have to do, right? And then we're dragged away from the simple, straightforward path. So he's going back again and saying, just please tell me what is best for me. I'm disciple, Shishya, I'm a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Srila Prabhupada in that purport, he says that by nature, material nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is designed to be a source of perplexity for everyone. So we're like I'm so surprised why I'm so confused, and it's so perplexing and so difficult to understand. Why is it like this? It's designed like that. By nature's own way, this is a complete system of materialistic activities, which is the source of perplexity for everyone. So it's an endless puzzle that you can never solve, and the reaction and the suffering intensifies as you're trying to solve it, right? Just to speed it up, just to help us get the point quicker, sooner. And then finally, the whole point of it is to, what does it say that Maya is testing? Right? Testing us. Are you here to serve Krishna or disturb Krishna? Do you want to compete with Krishna, or do you want to surrender and serve Krishna? So that's the point of Maya and the heavy lashes of Maya. So in every step, Prabhupada said there is perplexity. And if one is very intelligent, it's in your best interest, therefore, to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literature advises us to approach bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life. Prabhupada said, if you don't think you have a problem, you don't have any perplexity, you don't have any confusion, which is, taking away any peace and any happiness and any satisfaction in your life, then you don't need a guru. You don't need Krishna. You're acting as Krishna, you're acting as own guru, and then we are acting as the master and controller of our own destiny, isn't it? But if we want to get out of that, then we must approach bona fide spiritual master. How to get free from all of the perplexities, problems of our life. Prabhupada said they appear like a forest fire which takes place without being set by anyone. So similarly, the world situation is such that these perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. So now everything going into World War III, and you have most of the population in all of the countries telling their leaders, we don't want to be in the war. We don't want to go to war. We don't want to send our children in World War III. And yet, the insanity and the madness of these so-called leaders are just leading everything and everyone towards this type of destruction and death. And everybody is forced by the circumstances to accept it, whether they want it or like it or not, isn't it? It's automatically coming, and then it's causing more and more fear, more and more confusion, more and more perplexity in life. Nobody's asking for these things. The Vedic wisdom, Prabhupada says, therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in disciplic succession, because such a person is supposed to know everything, how to help us. One who follows Acharyavan, Purusho Veda, one who follows disciplic succession of the Acharyas, they know things as they are, not by speculation, not by material intelligence, not by the scholarship, just simply by hearing from authoritative sources. That hearing process of perfect knowledge from perfect personality, that's all defined by Krishna Parampara according to Guru Sadhu and Shastra. So one who hears and puts faith in that and executes and cultivates that following, they'll come to understand what is that science, and then with that faith and realization, they'll be able to share those, step-by-step instructions to us. Kripana. Narrow-minded, selfish. Prabhupada says that a miser, one who's Kripana, they do not properly use their assets or their opportunity properly. If you use it properly and you get a gain out of your assets and your opportunity, then that means you are intelligent. Prabhupada says, suppose you have $1 million and you keep it only, and you do not use it properly, or you completely spoil it and waste it, then also called miser. Foolishness, right? So one is Kripana, other Brahmana or Mahatma. They have this higher intelligence, understanding how to properly utilize the assets and the opportunity given to them. There's a lot here, but I highlighted the main points I wanted to discuss with you. So Prabhupada again, he's talking about the Kripana. And these description of such Kripanas or miserly minded persons, they're just wasting their time and being overly affectionate for their family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. So they're in material bodily consciousness and they're overly affectionate to their family, society, country, etc. This is definition of a miserly person, a Kripana. One is often attached to the family life, the wife, children, other members, on the basis of a skin disease. The Kripanas think they are able to protect their family members and their toes from death. Can you protect your grandfather's toes? Probably not, right? You don't like this conversation? Are you losing all of your enthusiasm? Huh? Yeah?
No.
No? Sure? What are you thinking about? What's bothering you? Huh?
Plenty of things.
Plenty of things.
What?
Plenty of things.
Plenty of things.
Yes.
Are you one of these miserly Kripana people? Are you just worrying about your skin disease of your family members?
Yeah, I mean, there are worries apart from that.
Huh?
Yeah, there are worries.
There are what?
There are worries apart from that.
You have more worries than that?
Yeah.
Like what? If you don't mind my asking.
Yeah, sure. So, Hare Krishna, Maharaj, so like ever since I've come here, like it has been 5 days. So, it's been 5 days since I've come here in Mayapur.
It's been 5 days since I came here in Mayapur.
And so like...
Oh, I thought you said there's been a big fire since he came here. That's what I was hearing.
Well,
It's been a big fire since I got here in Mayapur. And I'm burning in that fire.
the thing is that
5 days. He's like a guy who just got sentenced in the jail, right? And he's like, every day he's carving in the wood, you know, one more day in Mayapur, you know. It's supposed to be like joyfully performed, you know. It's like 5 days, I'm missing my family and
My job.
my job. my BMW. Yeah. Spent 5 long days in Mayapur. Have you ever been happier?
Well, I have felt good also here. I have felt good.
There have been times when I felt good here.
Do you remember those times?
Yes.
So 5 long days here on the Alcatraz, on the prison island,
Prison
right? This is an
island.
island, right?
Yes.
It's supposed to be like the spiritual world, right?
Alcatraz.
He's like, his mind is trying to break out of here, you know?
Yeah, regarding that was only the confusion. Like,
He's been there. He knows exactly what is done. He was a hooligan. The hooligans become Nazis, right? Anyway, we're not going to get into Nazis tonight. We don't want to offend anybody with Nazi sentimentality. So?
so like, there are like.
It's so enlivening, isn't it? Doesn't it make you want to just surrender everything?
So that's what my point was like. And today I'm having still, I keep on getting calls from my mother every time. And in
Are
job,
you missing your mom?
Well,
Are you missing mommy?
well,
Where's mommy? How's she doing? Is she thinking about me now? Is she suffering? Will she kill herself? She's feeling pain. Are you feeling her pain?
well, I don't not feel her pain, but I know she has pain.
Oh. But you're not feeling it?
Well,
Looks like you're feeling it. Maybe. So this is how deep-rooted this bodily attachment, bodily concept. This is, Prabhupada said, this is the material disease. This is the root of every other problem that will come to us. From that bodily conception, all of the pain and suffering comes on gross and subtle body. There's no pain or suffering for the soul. So if we're not on soul platform, we're on body, mental platform, that's where all the suffering and anxiety is. So if we're in the bodily platform and we are associating with asat, that means that everybody in that asat family of Maya is in a suffering condition. So you're bound due to this bodily conception and bodily family attachment. It's binding you into this different type of suffering and anxiety. And it says that when you try to break out of that, that's when Maya puts a very ferocious attack on you. If you're just in Maya, then you're in Maya. But if you're trying to get out of it, then Maya will heavily test you. Oh, you think you're going to get out of my clutches? You think you're going to run away? Escape from me? Then she puts a heavy test on you. Heavy weapons, heavy mind control. Then if you don't have nice association and you don't keep hearing the science of the solution, then you'll very easily be disturbed and contaminated in this, again, back into this bodily conception of life. It's like a worm in a stool. We'll just keep going back to this thing endlessly. And all of that is just a platform of suffering and anxiety. They're all suffering. They have all different types of suffering. They're expecting you to solve their suffering condition. They're seeing you as the science of the solution. Right? I need a house, I need some money, I need some food, I need some shelter, I need some protection. We need the prestige for our family. That's all of their food. So you're not cooperating with their feeding program. So now they're suffering more. So it's an endless chop, it's an endless cycle. Without anyone surrendering to Krishna, nobody can be peaceful and happy and satisfied. So if you cannot get your family to surrender to Krishna, they'll never be peaceful, happy and satisfied. What are you possibly going to do to make them peaceful, happy and satisfied? You can give them the three worlds, they won't be peaceful, happy and satisfied. It'll never be enough. It'll never be good enough. And if you remind them of what you did for them, they'll say, but that was in the past. What are you doing for me lately? And what will you do for me in the future? When I'm old and diseased, in a suffering condition, right? Remember Sanatana's father was bringing this thing? We're expecting that these persons are going to mitigate and pacify and protect us from our suffering condition at the end of the life. We're depending on that. We're planning for that. But whatever suffering you're having at the time of disease and death, your family cannot take that away from you. And then if you're in disease, suffering condition, ready to die, and all your family is suffering as well because you're dying and leaving, you got to look off of the deathbed at all of these people who are in a suffering condition because you're leaving, and you're going to add that on to your existing suffering condition before you die? So that's helping your parents? That's your help? You're going to dump more lamentation on them before they leave? You're going to put more anxiety on them that you can't take care of yourself as they're leaving? Is that going to be your help to your parents on the deathbed? So what exactly are you going to do to save them, or to take away their suffering and anxiety and pain in old age, disease and death? What can you do? You can spend all your money, get all the best doctors in the world. You could put them in the best nursing home possible. You cannot solve that problem. And then if you're in complete anxiety and suffering yourself, and you're all lamentation and sentimentality and crying, and then they look up and they see you in such a horrible condition, that's gonna help the situation? So what do you think you're gonna do to help them? What are they expecting that you're gonna do to help them? And then if we're killing our own soul by not accepting and surrendering to Krishna's instructions, how can you kill your own soul? You're committing spiritual suicide and you're like, I'm trying to help this other person. How are you going to help them? You can't help them materially, you can't help them spiritually. You can't help yourself. So you got to run home to help them. Help them with what exactly? So it's a big illusion. That somehow you're going to somehow make them peaceful and happy and satisfied by your mere presence or your collection of material assets, without them surrendering to Krishna, they'll never get free from their suffering condition based on their karma pala. Only Krishna can free one from the sinful reaction. They're suffering because of sinful reaction. They're suffering on bodily platform with the skin disease because of ignorance, which is a sinful reaction. If you're on soul platform, there is no suffering on that platform. So low consciousness means you're forced to suffer on bodily platform. So if you can't free them from that platform by getting them to surrender to Krishna and allowing Krishna to destroy their sinful reactions, how will you somehow or other take away their suffering and anxiety and their pain? We were discussing last night, right, how Arjuna was thinking, when I tell Krishna how compassionate and how sympathetic and how much caring and love and affection I have for my family, that this will be some great thing. And Krishna is basically saying, you're a fool. This is all weakness, it's all sentimentality, it's all anartha. It's not befitting someone who's an Aryan, somebody who actually understands the value of the human form of life. So that's why knowledge and understanding all of those things, you can actually override this type of sentimentality and emotion, which is putting us in opposite direction of what is actually beneficial materially and spiritually for ourselves and our family member. You know, if you tell your family, look, you know, I don't have anything materially, but I'm ready to give you my soul, they'll be like, I'm not interested in your soul. I need money. I need food. I need shelter, protection. And the fear of death, disease and death, everyone is consumed by that. That's why it's all trillion-dollar business, how to extend your life and be as healthy as possible and take the best medicines as you can and be as careful as you can. So somehow or other you can avoid diseases. And then of course the government's saying, don't worry, we'll protect you. And they're putting all the diseases in the food, in the water, in the air, in everything. They're going to protect us. And then their whole agenda is how to get rid of you. They just want about 500 million people. So there's like 7.5 billion people too much. So if we have 500 million people and a lot of robots, we don't need all these people who are eating the grass and sucking drinking the water and breathing the oxygen. So 7.5 billion people they want to eliminate. I'm not joking with you. They have generations of this type of mentality of people. So the same people who are saying that they're going to protect you and save you and make you healthy and happy and wise are the very same people who are creating the diseases and the means of putting those diseases inside of your body and your mind, and then giving you the medicines and vaccines which are supposed to solve the problem, which just further is creating the disease. And then everybody's, this cancer, this disease, that disease, everybody dying, all young age, all of this type of thing, right? So what are you going to do to save your family from all of that? If you really are concerned about their suffering and you want them to get freed from this suffering due to their sinful reactions, then you must become a devotee and develop strong faith and intelligence enough to convince them that the only way to get free from your anxiety and your suffering condition, and even your disease or even your shortened life due to sinful reaction, in order to extend that and to avoid the disease, is to surrender to Krishna. Then Krishna says, I'll destroy all of your sinful reactions. So if you cannot get them to surrender to Krishna, where Krishna agrees and guarantees that he'll destroy the sinful reactions, the karma pala, what does your presence there or not there have anything to do? It's meaningless. And then if you're sitting there and you're weak and you're useless and you're killing your own soul by your own foolishness and ignorance, that's what you're offering your family members? Oh, I'm back. To do what? Exactly? To do what? How exactly are you helping? What is your contribution to the solution? Got to run back and help my family from suffering and anxiety. And then you go back, you're suffering in complete anxiety, completely bewildered, confused, and perplexed as to what to do and what not to do. And you're like, okay, I'm back. I'm here to give you my association. Think about it. What are you actually giving them? And then everybody just shares their suffering and anxiety and fears and perplexities and confusions, and we just all suffer together as a family? Well, if we have to all suffer, at least we're together as a family. Right?
Yes.
Blood, they say blood is thicker than water, right? We're blood. We're family. This is skin disease. This is blood disease. That is the ignorance that is permeating through the material world, especially in the Kali Yuga. So you run back immediately. Then what are you bringing back? They'll look in your bags, they'll look in your bank account. You went to a fake meeting where you're supposed to raise money, so you're coming back with no money and no spiritual assets, but you're there to save them and free them from their suffering and anxiety, you know.
What'd you bring?
They'll be going through your bags, you know. It's just like, where's the money, you know? And so I don't really have any money. Okay. What spiritual assets do you have? Well, I actually didn't surrender. So what are you doing here? I'm just back. And then we're like, Mom, can you cook me dinner, you know? I'm here to save you. Mom, can you cook me dinner? And Dad, I need some money. because I didn't really go to a business meeting. But you see how all of this skin disease, this bodily conception, this attachment to bodily relation, it is so deep rooted. And all the fear, all the anxiety, all the uncertainty, all of the suffering comes because of this body and mind. Right? Hari-atmika. And the body and mind of the people that we're associating with. They're suffering also, body and mind. Another type of suffering. So you're increasing your suffering of your body and mind by associating with someone else who's suffering with their body and mind. Not at all involved in the actual solution, but at least we're together. At least I gave them like a little bit of pleasure. And then the little bit of pleasure that you gave them has to be counted with suffering anyway. So you gave them, 5% pleasure, so now they get 10% more pain. Great. Every little bit of pleasure is the root cause of our future suffering condition. So you're a little bit helping them materially to enjoy, and then that's helping the root cause of their future suffering condition. So that's your contribution. Think about it. Right? But the sentimentality and the emotion and the sympathy and the weakness and the kripana consciousness on bodily platform, it doesn't allow us to understand the reality. It doesn't allow us to see the bigger picture. All we see is mom in her favorite chair, rocking back and forth, staring at a picture of their baby, praying to the demigods. I am so pessimistic, huh? Mataji, are you enjoying this show? I mean this class? Everybody's having fun. Right?
Actually, he was crying the whole
He was what?
he was crying because
He was trying?
crying.
Crying?
Yeah, because
What a friend, man. He's setting you up big time, He's trying to act like tough, right? And he's like, oh, he was crying, right?
I'm like,
So why don't we tell everybody how much this guy was crying, how sympathetic, and let's all analyze how weak this person is. Oh, this is bitter medicine, man. Oh, even I'm feeling that one. Oh. If you can survive this one, you're gonna be all right.
he was like, I'm going to lose my job, and
What a friend, man. They have this confidential conversation, right? He's not saying anything. This guy's like, I'm just telling you what his problem is, Maybe you got more bitter medicine for him or something. That's a real friend. But the real point is, when you start to discuss this thing and you get a little bit purified and you start to really hear what is the real truth and you start to understand it, you're like, wow, this is deep-rooted problem. These are all the things which are blocking us from being able to surrender to Guru and Krishna. This is how powerful Maya is. Because now we're talking about trying to help you to get out of that, Maya is attacking you like anything. So now it's a question of, okay, how do you withstand the attack? By good association, by shelter and protection with other devotees who have already gone through these attacks and survived it. That will give you support and strength. And then you, instead of listening to the stupid mind and Maya just attacking you and creating so much fear and anxiety, we need to hear better information. If we associate with strong devotees who understand what is what, they'll give you the good, strong information, intelligence, how to overcome this attack from Maya. But if you say, no, I don't want to associate, this topic is very painful, okay, then you just sit in your room and then Maya will just attack you endlessly. And then you'll be overwhelmed. This is basically like waging a war against Maya. Like I said, my Gurudev used to say, if you're in Maya, you're already caught in the Maya. But when you try to get out, then Maya will say, oh yeah? You think you're going to get away from me? And she'll put a ferocious attack onto you. And you have to withstand it. That's a test. So if you have nice association and we're hearing getting good information according to Guru Sadhu Shastra, we're hearing what is the truth, that will keep you purified and it will protect you from these attacks of Maya. But Maya always says, oh, it's very distracting with all these people. I just need some space. If I just had some space, I could just think about it, pray to God, then He'll give me intelligence, what to do. Maya will do like this, tell you exactly opposite of what you actually need. You see, so I understand you're being attacked by Maya, and that's why Krishna stopped me to directly try to help you, to see if we can give you some type of protection and some type of support and some type of information to be able to counter this attack from Maya. That's the value of associating with Sadhu Guru Vaishnavas. That's where Krishna will help you and support you in that association. So I cannot let you just sit there and know you're being heavily attacked and not say anything, because you came all the way here, right? And also I feel bad because I made so many jokes about your grandfather's toes. Maybe I called your mom like Putina, I don't know. So now I'm trying to like do some damage control. We're trying to help you. You understand? And sometimes it's a bitter medicine. Even sometimes some people, they're going like crazy emotionally, they're so disturbed. Sometimes you have to like slap them. Right? I saw it like that. People, they get so frantic. It just gets so overwhelmed that you just have to slap them, and then whoa, it like reboots them. It's like a rebooting, isn't it? Sometimes like that. Whoa, what was I thinking? So it's risky because on one level it looks like, oh, I'm not compassionate, I'm not sympathetic, right? But that is not true. We have very sentimental understanding of compassion and sympathy. allowing people to stay and suffer in Maya and not being able to help them to get out of that, that is not sympathetic, that is not compassionate, that's not merciful. It's just selfishness and extended selfishness going both ways. So when you take a risk and you try to approach someone through their false ego, especially who's being attacked by Maya, just some flattering words is not going to really work. Sometimes you have to take a more heavy, stronger, shocking, jolting type of adjustment. You know, I've been preaching for a long time. I didn't just start like last week, right? So we've been doing this for 30 plus years. Actually, I've been doing this my whole life, to be really honest with you. So if I didn't have mercy and I didn't have the ability to understand or to help anybody, I wouldn't be in this position. I wouldn't be asked to be in this position. What would be the point? We need the real solutions. We need the real truth. We need the real information. We need spiritual strength to overcome this attack from Maya. That's the point of association. That's where you'll find shelter and protection. That's where Guru and Krishna can speak through, and in that association. This is a battle. We're in a battlefield. You try to go out on your own, you're going to get immediately slaughtered. Prabhupada said, if you think you can be Krishna conscious and overcome all of these heavy tests by Maya by yourself, you're living in a phantasmagoria. You're living in a grand, sentimental illusion. If you have one stick, easy to break it. If you take many sticks and you put a rope around it, it's very strong, you cannot so easily break that. And Maya will just say, oh, well, they have this problem, he has that problem, she has that problem. Maya will just make you criticize all of the help and support that Guru and Krishna could use to help you. And Maya will make you undermine all of the potential persons that Guru and Krishna could use to help you. So now you've basically disqualified everybody by our fault-finding nature, and we've minimized and disqualified them from being any type of, personality who could help us. So now we don't have to listen to them, we don't have to associate with them. You can't hear Krishna inside. Guru is telling to associate with, in Guru Krishna Samsara, you're denying, rejecting Guru's instruction. So now you don't have Krishna, you can't hear Krishna, you can't hear Krishna through the Guru, you can't hear Krishna through the Guru's instructions, and then the devotees who are part of Guru Krishna's family, you've already disqualified all of them. Then who exactly is going to help you? How do you possibly think you're going to overcome ferocious, vicious attacks from Maya? Impossible. That's why we drag this guy back. He's just bumping along, goofing along. Right? Sometimes when the kid's acting like a goofball, they don't know what to do. He said, grab the kid. All right, let's go. Chalo. Is it? They don't even know what they're doing. Oh, I have this knife. It's like so shiny and nice. The parent just grabs it out of their hand, isn't it? Not going to entertain you on the verge of killing yourself. Oh, let them they're just kids. They're having fun. They'll figure it out. You'll figure it out when they come in, when you're sitting there watching the TV, you know, they're oh, shiny knife. Then the other parent's like, man, we should have took that knife away from that kid, you know. I'm sorry, maybe that's too graphic, you know. This whole idea of cutting off toes just got me carried away, you know. Like, why just worry about the toe, you know? Many things can be cut. All right? It's not easy. You see, if we just come with like a sentimental idea, that sentimentality, it won't save you. It's not real. It's an illusion. It's just another, it may seem spiritual, may seem pious, but it's not real. And when you need it, you can't depend on it, because it's not real. And all you'll hear is Maya. All you'll hear is prompting of Maya. So this is the only way to counter it. This is our attempt to counter Maya's attacking you. So basically, Maya is canvassing your soul, and Krishna and Krishna's devotee is also trying to canvass your soul. So this is basically a Kurukshetra. It's a battle for your soul. That's what's happening. So you have to decide what is in your best interest. Because if you cannot help yourself, we cannot help anybody else. First save yourself. Then think about how to save and help other people. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so actually, yeah, in this past 5 days, like, you know, from Pune, like the pressures have been increasing on me, because like even the job where I left without like informing, these people ended up not paying my February month salary because the way I left. And so because of that, there is external more pressure from my family that now that already your job is gone, what are you going to do with your career? So because of that, like of course, if I go to Pune just now, I think I am like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And even like, so because of all these things, it makes me feel that the more I am here, you know, that there is one side which makes me feel that the future does seem unclear. So there are two sides.
You sound like Arjuna. He's like the personification of Arjuna, right? He's completely perplexed. Because he has all these family considerations, right? And he can't handle his duties either. So spiritually not doing and materially not doing, and then not even knowing what to do, what not to do, or even how to do it. It's literally coming to this realization that I have no idea what to do and how to do it. I don't even know where to begin. That's what perplexity means,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you are Arjuna. You people are crazy. Bunch of crazy people. Arjuna. Guy's suffering. Everyone's like, yeah, he's Arjuna. But what happens is, this is a perfect example, before we started to discuss all of this thing, we didn't truly understand the depth of the complexity and the perplexity of the situation. We know we have some problem, right? But not to this degree. So by discussing it, it makes you think about it and to consider it, and to as you're getting more purified, you start to internalize, and you start to take an inventory of the reality of your situation. Just like I was saying, we think we have a problem, we try to solve it, and the more you're trying to solve the problem, like, wow, this is more of a problem than I thought. I knew I had a problem. But the more you're thinking about what is the problem and how to solve it, that's when you're actually really kind of focused in, laser-like, and going deeper and understanding the more subtle nature of those challenges and problems. Then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is much more serious and much more confusing and bewildering and complex than I was even initially understanding. Because if we cannot bring ourselves to understand the reality of our position and condition, and how perplexed and bewildered and suffering we really are by that, then there's no idea that, oh, I should surrender to Krishna. If we don't think we have a problem and we think we're managing nicely, then why we have to surrender to Krishna? Right? Why we have to surrender to Guru and Krishna? That's why I always ask this question, are you, as a manager of your own life, are you satisfied? Now, if we're in ignorance, in animal consciousness, they'll be like, yeah, I'm satisfied. If you ask a hog or a dog, are you satisfied? They're like, yeah, it's fantastic. So how can you tell them something different? Only you have to bring them that, how in the reality of this condition can you be satisfied? Then you have to break it down and come to what is the actual reality of my condition or situation. Then when you start to analyze it and you start to study it, then you're like, wow, this is not a small problem. And that's what the whole pastime with Arjuna is Arjuna, so qualified personality, so intelligent, so qualified, using all Vedic scriptures and understanding of karma and understanding of Vedic knowledge as excuses for how and why he can't surrender and perform this function as a warrior, as a military man, right? And as he was making all of these different excuses and ideas, and he was internalizing, realizing, I'm getting weaker and weaker and weaker. I'm getting more and more confused, more and more bewildered, because everything I thought I had figured out isn't working. So it's actually undermining your faith and determination in yourself. But because of pride and arrogance and you know, we think we're great and we're smart and we're strong and we can figure things out and we can manage and we can make plans and we can do this and we can do that. So we're just going in that way until we realize it's not working. And when you exhaust all attempts, like Arjuna did, and then it becomes intolerable because it's so disturbing. You can't live for one more moment like this. No peace, no happiness, no satisfaction, no joy, nothing, materially or spiritually. Okay, I admit my defeat. I give up trying to be my own guru, trying to come up with my own plan. And of course, those plans and ideas are coming from Maya anyway. That's where we lose the faith and the confidence in ourselves that we alone, by ourselves, are powerless, hopeless, useless. Then we'll surrender. Material energy is designed to bring every soul to that degree of admitting powerlessness, helplessness, uselessness, materially and spiritually. Meaning we are totally understand our complete disqualification. Then we understand no good karma, no gyan, no good intelligence, no yoga, no nothing, no bhakti, nothing. Realizing that, then all the pride and all the arrogance and conceitedness, nature, all completely gets crushed. You get completely humbled out by that information. But instead of grumbling and complaining about it, we should embrace it, that that's required to seek more superior information and knowledge and plan from Krishna. Krishna has his plan for us. We're going about having our own plan under modes of material nature. So I always ask, okay, you don't want to surrender? You know, you're happy with your results? What's your plan? What's your plan for success? Do you have faith in your plan? Do you really believe it's going to work without the mercy of Guru and Krishna? Do you really perceive some level of peace and happiness and success by following Maya's plan? And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, maybe I'm not so confident now. And especially if you ask, well, where did the plan come? Where did your plan come from? Did it come from Krishna or it came from Maya? There's two choices. Right? So if we don't understand Krishna's plan for us, then all that's left is Maya's plan. So whose plan are we actually working on? And then Maya's plan means suffering in the beginning, the middle, and the end. Little bit of pleasure, unlimited suffering. Rajagun, right? Little bit of pleasure. Oh, this is going to be great. Then unlimited suffering. That's the reaction. So little bit of pleasure is the cause of our future suffering condition. So what pleasure exactly are you going to give anybody? Can you give them pleasure and then not give them the reaction? So what did you really do to help them? You facilitated their sinful activity. Now they're going to suffer. They get a little bit of pleasure and then they have unlimited sinful reaction. So that's compassion? That's sympathy and compassion? You're facilitating their sinful activity so that they can suffer the sinful reaction, and you're doing your dharma and your duty as a son and daughter, to be the cause of their future, future suffering condition? You follow me?
I do. Yeah, so actually, because of that only today I had been thinking that, like if as a good son, now I should leave Mayapur and go to Pune. So I was thinking of leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
I did discuss this with devotees, like what I should do, what I should not.
Expert devotees?
Yeah, main,
Who were those expert devotees?
First I discussed with Ashutosh Prabhu, with other devotees also.
What did they tell you?
Well, they said that ideally you should stay for at least a few more days. It's like even from a logical perspective, like if you have come struggling so much to come here, then just leaving right now.
This is a very practical, logical type of answer.
And they also, and they said to me to discuss this with you. What exactly should be done, like that, in this case.
Yeah. So now you're getting your answer. So they gave you best advice. Go listen to Maharaj, pray to Krishna, and Krishna through Maharaj will tell me what I need to hear.
But Maharaj, yes, there is also one more challenge for me. Right? I'll be frank about this.
There's not one more challenge.
Yeah, but apparently, which looks.
Yeah.
So the thing is that yes, I want to surrender to Krishna, but the thing is that at the same time, I just cannot leave a career and just stay in like an
money,
ashram.
money, 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 money. Money, 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 brighter than the sunshine and sweeter than the honey. Money, money, money. One more problem. It says money is the root of all evil. How are you going to argue with Guru Krishna?
I'm not arguing.
All right, this brings us to the next point. This is exactly the next point. Krishna telling, keep going. All right? Now we're going to go. Buckle up. Yes, Kripana. Miserly people wasting their time worrying about their affection for their family, the family relations, society, country, all in material bodily conception of life, attached to the family life, mother, grandfather, husband, wife, children, other members, all on the basis of the skin disease. The creepiness think they're able to protect their family members from disease and death. Or the creepiness thinks that his family member or society can save them from disease and death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals. They also take care of their family. Being intelligent, Prabhupada says, Arjuna could understand that his affection, and Prabhupada said, first he said here it's overly affectionate. So devotee means that they have love and affection for everybody because they realize everybody's a soul, everyone belongs to Krishna, everyone's related to Krishna. So because of that, there's some affection there, some caring is there on that platform. Overly affectionate means on the bodily platform, according to the skin disease. So Arjuna could understand that his affection and attachment for his family members and his wish to protect them from disease and death were the causes of his perplexities. So he came to realize how perplexed he was, and he came to realize why he is so perplexed. Because of this over-attachment and affection for the bodily relations, family, thinking that somehow we can protect them from suffering, disease, and death, or they can protect us from suffering, disease, and death. And although he could understand